Okay, let's check your homework on surds, where you had to simplify surds, to add them, and etc. So we'll look at the exercise 1, where you had to simplify following surds. What does it mean to simplify? It means if you at the moment have a number, say 12 or 20 or 108 under the square root, to simplify means to take out of this square root all perfect squares, all squares of perfect squares, and to leave a number which doesn't have a perfect square as a factor. For example, 12 can be written as 4 times 3, where 4 is a perfect square or square number. So what happens next? We can write square root of this product as product of 2 square root of 4 times square root of 3. And then square root of 4 gives you a nice and lovely 2 times root of 3, and 2 times root of 3 can be written as 2 roots of 3. Like in algebra, we drop this multiplication sign and we write 2 next to square root of 3, meaning that it is multiplication. So now we consider our surd simplified because the number under the square root doesn't have any perfect square as a factor inside. So let's just mark the work and see how you did it with the next question. So the first question has to be 2 roots of 3. It is okay to simplify this quick and jumping over step where you show exactly how you did it, but in your exam please do not skip this stage. Please do write all workings out and do not rush at all. Now let's do question 20, square root of 20. 20, I would prefer to see here a step where 20 is presented as product of 4 and 5, and then square root of 5 times square root of 4 times square root of 5 can be written as 2 roots of 5. So that's correct answer. Then square root of 24 is written as 6 times 4. That's the best presentation of 24. We know that 24 is also 3 times 8 and etc., but only 4 is a perfect square, so it's very wise to write this way. So 6 times 4 can be written as square root of 6 times square root of 4. That's correct. Square root of 4 gives you 2, and so you see 2 multiplied by root of 6 is correct answer. Okay, here I see square root of 50 was written as square root of 10 times 5. Okay, and then you split this way, and it is not quite clear how did you arrive to this correct answer. What should happen, perhaps you would need to split square root of 10 perhaps further into square root of 2 times square root of 5, and then square root of 10 times square root of 5 would be, instead of square root of 10 you would have square root of 2 times square root of 5 times square root of 5, and this root of 5 times root of 5 is actually 5, and so that's how you get answer 5 roots of 2. I also would like to show you different method of doing question D. Question D, square root of 50 was your starting point, and try to write this 50 as a product of one perfect square multiplied by something else. The biggest perfect square that I can think of is 25, and so therefore the second number has to be 2, and now we write square root of 25 times square root of 2. Square root of 25 is 5, and multiplied by root of 2 simply will be 5 roots of 2, and that's the answer. Okay, right, let's check the next question. Square root of 27 is square root of 3 times 9, right, which is fantastic because 9 is a perfect square. So then this root was split into a product of two roots, and square root of 9 is indeed 3, and so 3 times root of 3 is written this way. We write 3 first, then multiplication sign, and then square root of 3. Done, and it is correct. Square root of 32 equals square root of 4 times square root of 8, and again correct answer is achieved. Not quite clear how it was done, because we know that square root of 4 is 2, and 2 times root of 8 is not kind of finished product yet. We do need to have a little bit simplification here, so say root of 8 has to be simplified further into 4 times 2, which is 2 roots of 2, and then 2 times 2 roots of 2 will give you 4 roots of 2. Alternatively, I would prefer, when you start from, say, square root of 32, okay, you would look at the biggest perfect square at all that you can be a factor of 32, for example 16, and then write this as square root of 16 times root of 2. Square root of 16 is 4, and 4 times root of 2 is 4 roots of 2, and that would be kind of easier. So procedure would be the following: try to find a perfect square, as the biggest possible perfect square, as a factor of this number, and kick that out of square root and get whole number, and you'll be much better. For example, here, right, when you see this, I can't see how the answer was achieved. How was it done from this square root of 9 times root of 12 to exactly correct answer? I would prefer that certain simplification have been shown, steps have been shown. It's not kind of clear here. What you could do, for example, if you know that 108 is 9 times 12, you can also know that 12 is 4 times 3, alright, and then therefore you have already 2 perfect squares, so you can write this root as root of 9 times root of 4 times root of 3. Root of 9 is 3, root of 4 is 2, and 2 times root of 3, that's it. So now you have 6 roots of 3. So you could do it step by step, really. It doesn't matter how many square roots you have here. Let's do this question. 300 multiplied by, 300 under the square root. Again, I can't see reason why it was split in this way, and then correct answer was achieved. So what I would rather think of would be 300, okay, would be split into 100 times 3, and square root of 100 would times square root of 3 would give you 10 roots of 3. This way I see how this 10 came, where it came from. Here you might want to do a little bit more work. Say, for example, square root of 30 is square root of 3 times square root of 10 and times square root of 10, and now square root of 10 times square root of 10 is 10. So at the moment this work, although gives correct answers, alright, it's actually not quite finished yet. Okay, let's do this question. Now we see square root of 7 times square root of 14, and then look what happens. Square root of 7 times 14 is square root of 7, and then times square root of 14, but then square root of 14 can be written as square root of 7 times square root of 2, and square root of 7 times square root of 7 is 7 times root of 2, and so that is 7 roots of 2. Okay, right, that is correct as well. And here we are, we have more splitting out. I can't see again how the correct answer was achieved from this stage, but what I see, the way how I see it, say for example square root of 24 will have to be split into square root of 8 and square root of 3, and then once you multiply by square root of 8, that's, here we are, square root of 8 times square root of 8 is your 8, and that's how you've got it. Okay, that's exercise 1. I hope it makes sense, and if not, please come and see me in school. Thank you for watching.